What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we're back with another Dead by Daylight video. I finally found the time to get around and redo my looping, juking, and 360 tutorial that I did last September. Surprisingly, it hit over 15,000 views in a decent amount of time for me being such a small YouTuber. I really hope my last video helped a lot of people out. I'm sorry again for the terrible audio I used to have. My audio is now fixed, and let's go ahead and get into this. When it comes to playing this game, either survivor or killer, it is all about mind games. Who can outsmart who? There are many techniques, or techs as a lot of people like to call them, that you can utilize as a survivor to help keep you alive a little bit longer in order for your teammates to get the gens done so you guys can survive. As you can see in this part of the match here, I actually tried to get a short 360, but 360s are not always going to work because they are completely counterable. As a survivor, I would recommend keep your sensitivity at 100%. As a killer, I would recommend 70% or higher. Upon getting hit, as you saw, I did not immediately run through that pallet and drop it down. That is one thing you need to learn as a survivor to not do unless you absolutely have to. Your goal in a chase is to waste as much time of the killers as possible, so try to run around a pallet in a loop as much as you can before you absolutely have to drop a pallet. It is completely understandable if you sometimes panic and drop down pallets. It happens to the best of us. And for all you newer players out there, that was ruined. This isn't the best window to do this on, but here I'm going to try a window tech. That doesn't work here, but it does work every once in a while, depending on the killer. That window was an entirely bad example. Let's say in other cases you're running the killer shack loop. What you'll do is you'll vault the window, run to the edge of the corner, and then cut back. And as their second foot hits the floor, you can actually run through them, taking off collision, and run around to the killer shack pallet. Now what they'll do is they'll run around the corner trying to chase you, thinking that's the way you went because they're following your scratch marks. But little did they know, you never went around that corner. When it comes to doing a 360, this is all about predictability. You want to predict where the killer is going to swing. So as you're running, keep looking at your backside. Obviously my 360 here did not work. This Legion actually knows how to play and has a higher sensitivity. As I said earlier in the video, you want to try and run a loop as long as you can. Now, with that being said, for this particular part, I did not actually do that. I kind of camped it because I wanted to see what this Legion was going to do. And as you saw, he tried to hide his red stain and moonwalk me and got hit by a pallet. While being chased, you should run a loop as long as you can before you actually drop a pallet. And then obviously, once they're breaking the pallet, head to the next jungle gym. And then prepare to loop them on that. As you play more and more Survivor, the more you learn, the better you're going to do. But at the same time, killers are going to know what you're going to do because most people will play both sides. Or killer mains will watch survivors and see what they do and then figure out how to counter it. As you can see right here, I did not play this the best that I could. I should have ran around instead of vaulting the window and then seeing which way he went and cut back. If you get caught around a hook while you're healing and somebody's on the hook, a useful tip, do not yank that person off unless you have borrowed time. Because if you do, I can tell you right now, I promise you they will return the favor. If you are on your first hook, you do have 60 seconds until you go to stage 2. Each attempt that you take on the hook will take away a third of your timer. So make sure you always pay attention to that so you do not end up on death hook. One of the strongest survivor perks you can run, in my opinion, would be Iron Will. Because while you're injured, you do not make any noise unless the killer's running Strider, then that totally counters it and you're screwed. If you are injured, you should make it a goal to heal up as soon as possible. Unless you have a killer who likes to tunnel, you can heal at the hook. It's not that big of a deal. Most people like to run off to the side and go heal, which can be smart at times because a lot of killers do tunnel. 2 perks that I would highly recommend if you want to be a person who can actually loop a killer around: Spine Chill and Resilience. Because when you're in a chase, the killer is always facing you, giving you a 6% vault speed, and if you're injured, you get 9% more, totaling 15% on vault speed. If you don't have a full squad, sometimes it is courteous to actually get off your generator, even though it's important to get it done, and save your teammate. Who knows, if you get caught and get put on a hook and bring camped, maybe they'll save you in return. The reason I would rather stop working on my generator and actually go make this save is the fact is I don't know what the randoms are doing, and I'm actually going to save my teammate so that they don't die on hook, because they did save me. Now, also, I can't confirm whether or not all 5 totems have been taken out yet, so you don't want to just rush, get the gen done, then discover no ed, and then lose. For this match, I did not bring me a flashlight. I actually happened to just found the medkit I had. But during pallet breaks, if a killer is chasing you and he's refusing to break the pallet, obviously run it as long as possible. But when he's breaking it, people will say this is toxic, but it's not. Take your flashlight, shine it, blind him, and then make your escape. Now me, I know firsthand as an experienced killer Both killers and survivors are very toxic. Survivors like to taunt killers by flickering their flashlights, they like to teabag at pallet stuns, etc. Killers, on the other hand, will slug survivors for that sweaty 4K, they will camp, and they will tunnel survivors. Obviously, neither side is entitled to living or dying or killing everyone. With this match here, I did get a little frustrated because every time I went for a 360, I would get hit by the Legion's Feral Frenzy. But as I stated earlier, when you're running from a killer, you want to pan your camera backwards so you can actually see how close they are. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and cut one way to see if I can get them to swing, and then cut back and usually do a full spin around them while panning my camera the opposite direction so I can actually complete a 360. I cannot stress this enough, a 360 does not always work. Experienced killers, especially like me, do not get 360'd. Another thing that I will recommend is during a chase, if you get an opportunity to break the line of sight of the killer, go ahead and stop running as long as you're running Iron Will. Stop leaving scratch marks, that way then they only have your blood to follow, and if they're not good at tracking blood, then they're not going to be able to find you. There are a lot of perks you can use to your advantage, but there's not a single perk that guarantees you're going to make it out alive. Yes, people say run Decisive Strike, which you obviously see me running here, but it's not a guarantee that you're ever even going to get to use the perk. Most killers will go ahead and slug you, wait out the 60 seconds, and then pick you up when it's safe. One thing you can do to give yourself maybe a chance to even use your Decisive Strike if you know the killer is a slugging type of killer, if it's still available and they're pretty much tunneling you, go ahead and jump in a locker. Most killers will still wait out that timer. But if you have another combination going on, like head on, you can head on them if they decide to wait out your timer. But you want to make sure you don't get a crow on top of your locker, because the second you get a crow, head on does not work. If you notice a teammate do it, but you're unsure if they even have Decisive Strike, maybe they're just trying to avoid a hit, and you do have a flashlight, you can do a locker tech, where as soon as the killer goes to pull them out, you can make a flashlight save. Another useful thing during a chase, if you actually land a hit on a killer, rush and go ahead and blind him at the pallet, and if he doesn't break it in time, you can actually jump over it, called a pallet tech. If you're newer to this game, I really hope this video finds you and hopefully can give you a little bit of help to make you a better player. I cannot sit here and guarantee you that everything I've taught you today will actually work every single time, but to players who are maybe not as advanced as myself and other killers out there, it will definitely work most of the time. Just remember, practice, play the game, have fun, that's all you can do. If you found this video useful, if you can give me a like, comment down below if there's anything else you'd like to see in the future, and subscribe if you're newer to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. My last tutorial got over 15,000 views, let's see if we can get double on this one. As always, good game.